on Spinoza Ray Prozac, who back in the day ran anus.com. Nowadays he runs deathmetal.org and calls himself Brad Michaels or Brad the Hitman Hart or whatever. I don't care, I'm not talking about what he does now, I'm just talking about back in the day. And the main question about this guy is, why are people still talking about this guy? And back in the day he wasn't just running his anus.com site with provocative articles and his trolling sites about the Libertarian National Socialist Green Party or whatever. He wasn't just doing that, he was also very active on file sharing. And after Lars Ulrich and James Hetfield killed Napster, everybody moved to Audio Galaxy, and then that was killed too. And so we all ended up on Direct Connect with DC++. Direct Connect was a system where you would gather in hubs where you could connect to each other. Hubs were like a chat room, and you could connect to everybody in that room, but not connect to everybody who was not in that room. It was a very specific system. And so we all had these hubs, and we had the black metal hubs, and I was running one of the black metal hubs. Like, I started a hub taking over a Viking metal hub from some complete idiots, and then some other guy merged with my hub, and so I ended up with one hub with Prozac and his followers, and we were all in the same hub together on Direct Connect. It was like that. I knew the guy before, of course, because in the late 90s, early 2000s, I was posting on the bosom.com forum. And there was a connection there, and then the connection was created in the Direct Connect hub, which I was running. If you were around back in the day, I was running the Dunkelheit hub on Direct Connect, and I made up really elaborate rules, and it was really funny. It was a really fun time. I met a lot of fun people, among other people Eric of Desire, who for one short period got signed to big black metal labels but never made it big because nobody understood their style. And met a lot of cool people back then, and Prozac was one of the people there, and from talking with him back then, it was clear he was kind of like a precursor of the incel movement, like of the Chads and Stacy thing, because he seemed really obsessed with football jokes and people playing football and whatever. But I'm not one to judge, and he was into black metal, and he popularized all these cool black metal bands back in the day. Like, if you are wondering why this guy is still known today, like, in the file sharing days, I had to pause because I confused myself, because I tried to record the video before, but I had a really bad cough, and now I'm not sure what I said before and what I didn't. In those days, Prozac was the guy who popularized all these obscure bands, created all these crazes about bands that you know about, that even the younger ones among you know about. First about Beherit, who were nobodies back in the day. He created the craze in the file sharing community. Iljan from Norway, he created that craze in the file sharing community. Then the Black Legions from France, Mutilation, Blood Tepish, Bill Ketre, however they are pronounced, he created that craze. Moonblood from Germany, he created that craze to hunt after all the demos. He created that in the file sharing community. he was the driving force behind creating these crazes for these complete underground bands who were completely nobodies back in the day. He was the driving force behind that. So if you are wondering why anybody still talks about that guy, that's why. That's what he did, that's what he contributed. He created the big crazes about these underground black metal bands that were complete nobodies back in the day, but he created these crazes to hunt after their demos, hunt after their material, and listen to their obscure stuff. So he definitely contributed something. It's not like he's like just a guy writing his shit articles on a shit website. He definitely, back in the day, contributed to the scene a lot. So the respect that was in the scene for him back then, it definitely had a reason, it had a justification. There was a reason people respected him, because he created the hype between these, behind these great underground bands back in the day. So there definitely was a reason behind respecting that guy. It wasn't just that he was some racist troll. Nobody even back then would have been respected just for being a racist troll, but that's what kids nowadays believe, that, oh, this guy is just some racist troll, why does somebody even listen to him? Because back in the day he actually contributed something. That's why he was respected back then, why I respected him back then, even though he was like really weird in conversation, being obsessed with this football culture and mainstream culture and how they get everything and he gets nothing, like really proto-incel. And then we get to the point before my 2008 exit from the scene. I had to exit from the scene because I had some personal problems. But before that, I spent a lot of time really being against that guy, and there were a lot of accusations back then that, oh, he just didn't like your shitty music, so you're really angry at him. And it was funny, just some of his really weird followers making shit up, because first of all, I don't know if he ever heard my music, and second of all, if he did, he never commented on it to me. And third, even if he did, even if he messaged me saying, oh wow, your music is complete dog shit, that's what everybody says to me. Like, my music is deliberately bad. Obviously, that's what everybody says to me. I never held it against anyone. Yeah, I play shit music and people tell me that. I don't give a shit, that's the whole point. Like, wow, why would I care about that? But yeah, his followers had to make up some weird stories. And why did they have to do that? Because of what actually happened in 2004, I think. No, 2005 it was. That he started his thing. His scam. That he wrote a big story, and admittedly he's a talented writer. I mean, he writes shit, but it's well written. He wrote a big stories about metalheads being warrior culture called the Hessians. He wrote that big story, and he concluded that big story that if you want to join the United Hessian movement, pay me $50. I'm not offering anything, just pay me $50. You know, Blake Judd at least offered you something. He never sent it, but at least he offered you something. Prozac, he never even offered something. He was just like, join our movement for something, send me $50. Send me $50. And all the goons who were like really follower type of people, they sent $50. Never got anything back. Never got anything in return. They just, oh, we're part of a movement now. Like, yeah, send me $50, send me $50, send me $50. That was like his United Hessian movement. Send me $50. send me $50. We're a movement, we're a warrior class of metalheads, the Hessians. Send me $50. So people sent him $50. Never got anything in return, never got anything back. Nothing. Complete scam. Like, at least Blake Judd offered something in return. He never even offered something in return. He just told people to send him money for nothing. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? First of all, what the fuck is wrong with the people sending the money? But what the fuck is wrong with that guy? What a complete messed up scam. Like, I respected the guy. I thought he stood for something. And then such a cheap, shitty scam. Like, really cheap, really crappy, shitty scam. Like, complete scam, complete criminal, complete low-life scam. And I was like, wow, I respected this guy, and wow, what a shitty scam. And then I started to pay attention to all his shitty stuff he was doing. Like, he liked to troll forums, like especially the Hessian Front forums, which were like Nazi assholes, obviously, but really convinced Nazi assholes, like really ideological Nazi assholes. They're not like your average skinheads who at least know how to have fun, but really convinced, really ideological, so you can trigger them with anything. You can troll them with anything. Anything will set them off. So he went there trolling, and then every time he did, he started blaming others. Oh, it was this guy, it was this guy. And what really pissed me off was one time he blamed a friend of mine, the moderator of the bosom.com forum, Vile Renkor, who is an Israeli Jew. After the site was closed, that Israeli Jew even got a thank you note from Vag Vikernes for working on bosom.com. But it was like, Prozac was trolling the Hessian Front forum, and then he was like, oh, that was just Vile Renkor from bosom.com stirring up trouble. No, you asshole, that was you, you fucking liar. And he did that everywhere. He just went around trolling places, blaming others, and I was like, you fucking liar. And combine that with that fucking ridiculous scam. Like, oh, what a fucking asshole. And that was a person people respected for what he did for the black metal scene back in the day. People respected him back then, and he did these fucking lies and fucking scams like a real fucking lowlife, like a real piece of shit. And yeah, obviously his goon followers back in the day, they made up stories about me, about him criticizing my music, like I give a shit. Like Donald Trump supporters nowadays, like you criticize Donald Trump and they make up all kind of fucked up stories about you that are just complete fiction and complete garbage. And the Prozac goons back in the day, they did the exact same crap, just inventing stories just so they can justify still following that lying, scamming asshole. And obviously, yeah, that was what he was. And I left the scene in 2008 and took a few years to work on my life in return, and discovered he did that death metal org still with well written articles, and I don't know, he's called Brett the Hitman Hart or whatever now, or Red Butler, or I don't really care. Nobody really cares. All the people who were there back in the day who respected him are out of it, and all the young people, they just wonder what the fuck is up with that guy. Like, they don't understand where he got any respect in the first place, because they weren't around back then, so it's completely pointless. he still has his like 10 followers who he can probably still scam. Like he can probably just still tell them, pay me $50 to be part of the death metal classical reconstruction movement or whatever, make up some shit movement and tell people to pay him $50 for nothing. Sorry about that coughing. But nobody cares anymore. It's completely irrelevant. It's not like back in the day where he contributed something. He's not contributing anything anymore. And the young generation doesn't. They got into metal after he contributed something, so all they ever saw was him not contributing anything. So he's just a complete joke. But joke is just too mild, because if you were around back in the day, you saw that people respected that guy, and it was just a complete scammer and liar, just a complete fuck up, just a complete low life. And with his proto-incel ideology obsessing about football stars and jocks getting the girls and whatever kind of shit. That's just garbage, and that's something the young people who just see him as a joke should know. He's not just a joke, he's way below that. He's a complete lowlife, a complete fuck up, a scammer and liar, complete piece of shit, just complete piece of human refuse. And just treat it that way. Just don't treat it any other way. Treat it exactly that way. Complete lowest of the low piece of shit.